All right, 5.3, part 2. Okay, we basically just have the construction left to finish, and then we'll discuss one more example. Okay, so today we're going to be learning how to copy a triangle. Basically create two congruent triangles, and to do that we're going to use this side angle side theorem. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy a side. Okay, copy the angle and then copy the other side, so the included angle, and then we'll have ourselves a exact copy, a congruent triangle. So first I'm going to start with, I'm going to take here side AB, and I'm just going to create a congruent side to AB. So if you don't remember how to do that, okay, so I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to create a ray, in essence, or a segment, and let's call this point A prime. Okay, so then now I take my compass. Okay, so you'll need a compass. If you don't have one, pause, go get one. Okay, and I'm going to put my compass point at A. I'm going to measure the pencil out to B. Okay, so we're going to measure that distance. So there's the distance from A to B. Now without moving my compass, I come put my point at A prime and put a mark on that segment. So then this is where I know B prime should be. So I have now copied a side. This side, A to B, and A prime, B prime are congruent. Okay, and so now I'm going to copy an angle. I'm going to come in and I'm going to copy this angle A right here. So to do that, if you don't remember how to copy an angle, I come in, I start by putting my point on A, and then just drawing an arc through angle A. So I'm just going to draw an arc through angle A. What you're looking for is to make sure it intersects both sides here. If it doesn't, you might need to extend those sides out. Okay? And then I'm going to come over here and do the exact same thing from A prime. I'm going to draw this arc. Okay? So here I have this arc wrapping around A, and this arc wrapping around A prime. So now I use these two intersections as measuring points. So to be consistent with the directions, let's call this point E and this point F, those intersection points. So now I'm going to measure, come in, take my compass, I'm going to put it at E, I'm going to measure out to F. Okay, figure how wide. This is just me getting an idea on how wide this angle is. E to F. And then I'm going to come out here, and do you see this is where my E prime would be? So let's go ahead, let's label that E prime. So without moving my compass, I'm going to come in, measure it from E to F. Okay, now without switching the width of my compass, I'm going to put an arc so it intersects there. So this is where my F prime would be, this intersection point F prime. And so now I'm going to draw a long ray here through F prime. A to F prime like that. Okay. So now, there I've copied an angle. So now I have angle A and angle A prime are congruent. So I've got a side, an angle. Now I need to do one more side. So now I'm going to copy side AC. So I'm going to copy that here. So I'm basically going to just redo how I did from A prime to B prime. I'm going to put my point on A, measure how far out to C. So measure how far out do I have to go to get to C. Okay. And then I'm going to come and do the same thing from A prime, put an arc here. So that's where my C should go. So C is at this intersection right there. So now this distance from A to C, same distance. So I have a side, the yellow sides, the angle, and the orange sides are now all congruent. So now all I have to do is connect B to C. And now I have congruent triangles. Oh, this is C prime. So now triangle ABC is congruent to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, now I want you to pause the video and I want you to do this one. I want you to go ahead and create a congruent triangle. You have tons of room down here. Go ahead and do it down here. So I want you to copy this. If you need to, rewind the video and rewatch this part. Okay, rewatch it step by step. Pause it, then do it over here. Okay, so you get some good practice in. Okay, last example. We're making a canvas to hang on the triangular portion of a barn. So here I have this barn, and I want to have a canvas, and I want to hang it right here. Okay. You think you can use two identical triangular sheets of canvas. So we think we can use two identical triangular sheets. One here for QRP and one here for SRP. You know that RP is perpendicular to QS. RP perpendicular to QS, which means it makes a 90-degree angle. And we know that PQ, the distance from P to Q, is congruent to PS. Use the side angle side congruence theorem to show that triangle PQR is congruent to triangle PSR. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to kind of sketch it outside of the main picture so I can see it a little better, break it down. So this is P, we know this is 90, here's Q, R, and S, sorry, crooked. And we know P to Q is congruent to P to S. Okay, so we know so we want to prove side, angle, side. So I'm just going to go side, angle, side. So we have one side. We know P to Q is congruent to P to S. They give us that. That's given. So we're kind of going to do a somewhat of a proof, not really, just giving reasons for things. Angles. Well, I know this is a 90-degree angle. Well, if this is a 90, this one here is also a 90, and I know all 90-degree angles are congruent. So I know this angle, I can't just say P, because I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'd have to go RPQ. Angle RPQ is congruent. RPQ is congruent to angle RPS. And that's because they're both right angles. And all right angles are congruent. That's the right angle congruence theorem. So we have a side, we have an angle. So let's go ahead and label. So I know PQ is congruent to PS, and then I have this angle here. So to be an included side, to be an included angle, I need this side here, RP. But RP is in this triangle, and RP is in this triangle, so it's congruent to itself. RP is congruent to RP by the reflexive property. Okay, so we have a side, so we know now this side, RP is congruent to itself. So I'm actually going to put two notches on it, so we know, hey, we've got a side, angle, side, congruent to a side, angle, side. So we know then that triangle PQR is congruent to triangle PSR by side, angle, side. Okay. So now I want you to jot down the practice and practice using the side angle side theorem.